Right now, while you're reading this, your brain is accumulating toxic waste. Not metaphorically, literally. Every thought you have, every decision you make, every second you stay awake, your brain is generating metabolic byproducts that slowly build up in the space between your neurons. They are linked to Alzheimer's, to cognitive decline, to the kind of brain fog that makes you feel 10 years older than you are. And the only system your body has to flush them out, the only cleaning cycle your brain possesses, activates exclusively while you sleep. Tonight, that system will run for 0 hours, or it won't. And the difference between those two outcomes is being written right now in your brain's biology. This is not about feeling rested. This is about what is physically happening inside your skull hour by hour while you are unconscious. Let's run the clock. The moment your eyes close and you drift off, something remarkable is already happening. Your brain doesn't just go dark, it shifts gears. Think of your waking brain like a city at rush hour. Billions of neurons firing in all directions, traffic everywhere, horns, chaos, constant signal. In the first hour of sleep, that city begins a deliberate shutdown sequence. Your brain waves slow from the fast, jagged beta rhythms of wakefulness into slower alpha waves, the kind you get during calm meditation, then slower still into theta. Your body temperature drops. Your heart rate slows. Muscle tension releases in waves from your feet upward. Science, your pineal gland, a tiny pinecone-shaped structure buried deep in your brain, has already been flooding your bloodstream with melatonin, the chemical that doesn't make you sleep, but tells every cell in your body that darkness has arrived and it is time to begin repairs. This first hour is light sleep, stage 1 and stage 2. You can still be woken easily, but something critical is already beginning in the fluid surrounding your brain. Here is where most people's understanding of sleep completely falls apart, because we think of sleep as the brain doing nothing. The truth is the opposite. Around hour 2, as you sink into deep slow-wave sleep, your brain cells do something extraordinary. They shrink, deliberately, by up to 60% in volume. This is not damage, this is engineering. When neurons shrink, the space between them expands dramatically. And into that newly created space, cerebrospinal fluid, a clear, watery liquid, begins to pulse through your brain in rhythmic waves, like a pressure washer being run through the streets of that sleeping city. This is the glymphatic system, named after glial cells, the support cells of the brain that manage this process. It was only discovered in 2013 by neuroscientist Maiken Nedergaard at the University of Rochester, and it completely changed our understanding of why sleep is not optional. What is the glymphatic system flushing out? Beta-amyloid plaques, tau proteins. The exact molecular signatures that accumulate in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. One night of poor sleep measurably increases beta-amyloid levels in the brain. One night. This is not a long-term risk. This is happening every time you cut your sleep short. Between hours 3 and 4, you hit the deepest phase of sleep your body will experience all night. Slow-wave sleep, delta waves. Your brain is producing the slowest, most synchronized electrical signals it ever generates, and this is when your pituitary gland fires. Human growth hormone HGH is released in its single largest pulse of the entire 24-hour cycle, not during your workout, not after your protein shake. Right now, in the deepest darkness of sleep, think of HGH as the body's master repair signal. It instructs your muscles to rebuild the fibers you tore during exercise. It triggers fat cells to release energy for cellular repair. It reinforces bone density. It tells the immune system to manufacture more T cells and B cells, the soldiers your body uses to fight infection. If you sleep 5 hours instead of prayed, you are not getting a reduced version of this hormonal pulse. Research from the University of Chicago found that a week of sleeping 5 to 6 hours cuts growth hormone output by up to 70%. You are not just tired, you are biologically aging faster. Around hour 4, something shifts in the sleep architecture. The deep slow-wave phases begin to shorten, and a new phase begins to emerge with increasing frequency: REM sleep, rapid eye movement. Your eyes dart beneath your eyelids. Your brain becomes suddenly almost alarmingly active. If you looked at a brain scan right now, you could not distinguish it from a waking brain. This is where memory is made permanent. During your waking hours, your hippocampus, a curved structure deep in your temporal lobe that acts like a short-term recording device, captures everything. Every face, every word, every skill you practiced. But these recordings are temporary, fragile, like RAM in a computer that hasn't been saved yet. In REM sleep, The hippocampus replays these recordings and transfers them to the cortex, the outer layer of your brain, where they become long-term memories. The hippocampus literally talks to the cortex in slow oscillating waves while you sleep, and the cortex echoes back, locking the pattern in. This is why you can study for 6 hours and remember 60 piroi, or study for 4 hours, sleep, and remember 90 piroi. You are not just resting, you are saving the file. Here is the part that nobody talks about, and it may be the most important of all. As REM sleep deepens through hours 5 and 6, your brain begins doing something that has no waking equivalent. It reprocesses emotional memories, but it strips the emotional charge from them. Think of the last time something humiliated you, or a moment of grief. The first time you recalled it, it was raw. But weeks later, you can remember the event without being destroyed by it. That emotional blunting didn't happen from time alone. It happened from REM sleep. During this phase, your amygdala, the brain's alarm center, the structure that fires during fear, rage, and panic, goes offline. Its activity drops to almost nothing, and your prefrontal cortex, the rational planning part of your brain, activates. Matthew Walker at UC Berkeley describes this as overnight therapy. Your brain literally re-edits your emotional memories while you sleep, keeping the information but reducing the pain signal attached to it. People with PTSD show disrupted REM sleep. People with depression show the same. This is not coincidence. The inability to process emotion overnight is a driver of mental illness, not just a symptom of it. In the final hours of a full night's sleep, your immune system shifts into its most active state of the entire day. Cytokinase, signaling proteins that coordinate the immune response, are produced in higher concentrations during sleep than at any other time. Natural killer cells, the immune system's first line of defense against viruses and cancer cells, increase their activity by up to 70 psi during a full night of sleep. This is why you get sick after a bad week of sleep. This is why wounds heal slower when you're sleep deprived. And this is why shift workers, people whose sleep is chronically disrupted, have significantly higher rates of cancer, cardiovascular disease, and metabolic disorder. A landmark study from Carnegie Mellon exposed participants to the rhinovirus, the common cold, and tracked their sleep. People who slept less than per hours were 4.3 times more likely to develop a full cold than those who slept 7 or more hours. Your immune system does not just work while you're awake fighting invaders. It does its most important work while you are completely unconscious and unaware. In the last stretch of sleep, the glymphatic system completes a final pass. The hippocampus runs one last consolidation sweep. Growth hormone levels taper off. Cortisol, your wake-up hormone, begins to quietly rise, preparing your body for the transition back to consciousness. And here is the tragedy of the alarm clock. The final 2 hours of sleep contain a disproportionately high amount of REM sleep. More emotional processing, more memory consolidation, more of the brain activity that makes you cognitively sharp, emotionally stable, and creative. When you cut your sleep from 8 hours to 6, you are not losing 25% of your sleep. You are losing approximately 60 to 90% of your REM sleep. The part you sacrifice first is the part your brain needed most. Every single thing you want for your health, a sharper mind, a leaner body, a stronger immune system, emotional resilience, a longer life, every single one of those outcomes depends more on the 8 hours you are unconscious than on anything you do while you are awake. Sleep is not the recovery from life. Sleep is where life is rebuilt. The glymphatic system does not care how motivated you are. It does not care about your supplement stack or your morning routine. It only runs when you give it the time and the darkness it requires. So tonight, when you are tempted to push through, to watch one more episode, to answer one more email, remember what is waiting for you on the other side of unconsciousness. A brain that woke up cleaner than when it closed its eyes. A body that repaired things you didn't even know were broken. A version of you that is measurably biologically better than the one who went to sleep. If this changed how you think about sleep, let me know in the comments which hour surprised you most, and subscribe because there is a lot more biology left to uncover.